So during November and December, we are having so many foods that maybe we only have once or twice a year, things like pumpkin bars or pumpkin pie, one of my all-time favorites. And so just because we're having one of our favorite foods that maybe we're not having throughout the year, it doesn't mean that we need to go hog wild and have a giant portion, because certainly when you're having a larger portion size, it's just a simple math fact that you're going to be having more calories, more added sugar, more fat. And so if you're trying to either maintain your weight or lose weight, or even just not gain weight, it would make sense then that we need to be watching our portion sizes. So if you're having, a slice of pumpkin pie, whatever you're choosing to have as your treat, we always talk about those as sometimes foods, remembering they are okay sometimes, but just realizing that the size of that portion matters, and then slow down and really enjoy it and make that serving last. You can enjoy eating it, and just, we talk about mindful eating. So practicing mindful eating with that. And then, of course, if we're doing holiday baking, we're in the kitchen and there's downtime where we're waiting for something to come out of the oven. And that is a good time to maybe do a few squats. You could do some leg lifts, grab a can or a bag of flour, a bag of sugar. Those are usually about 5 pounds. You can even get like the 10-pound bags. And you could do some bicep curls or some, tricep exercises. You can use that as weights in those intermediate moments of waiting. So just a little way to get some physical activity in, even though it might feel silly, but maybe nobody would be around watching. So those are some things that I try to do through the holiday season. Kaylee, how about you?
Yeah, that's a great question, Cheryl. I love this time of year. I guess I love food and family and having those things together. I think back on my childhood, we used to have huge Thanksgiving celebrations. There would be like 25 of us at the table, which is a little bit crazy. And my grandma was always the one that kind of ran the dinner. And we always had Thanksgiving dinner, our main holiday dinner, kind of in the early afternoon. And I think part of that was because we wanted to make sure that all of our eating was done kind of far enough ahead of bedtime that we weren't going to feel sick. But also it let us have a little bit more time to play and be together after the meal. We are in the dark season of Wyoming, which means that it's dark at like 5 p.m. So if you have your main holiday meal at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, then that still gives you several hours of daylight to go outside and have a good time. When I was a kid, Thanksgiving dinner always ended with a family basketball game at the park. So we would walk down to the park from our house, have a game of basketball, and then that's when we might have our treats for the day. As we got a little bit older, kind of our family broke into different groups, and some of us would go for just a walk, depending on if it was snowy or not. Sometimes we played soccer, but we always built in some activity together, some family time activity after our meal. And it was just a great way to kind of let everything digest, get feeling good, get moving, kind of get the turkey slump off before we went back and we had pie and played cards and all of those things. So one of the things I guess I would recommend is when you think about your holiday, either this month or next month or whenever you're celebrating, think about the whole day and how you want to balance out things like food and family and fun and some activity and all of those things. So, Jess, how about you? What did your family do for healthy holidays?
Well, your holiday sounds a lot like my experience growing up. We would always have our meal at 1 or 2 o'clock, and then afterwards, we would typically go for a walk, um, or my grandma in particular has a lot of land. She lives kind of on a farm, I guess. So I would just go out and play with my cousins. It was a great time to bond with family that you don't get to see as often throughout the year. So whether it was going on a walk or tossing around a ball, we would do that. Another thing that I found really special, but also incorporated some activity, was remembering family that can't be with you on the holidays since it's so focused around family time. We would go to the cemetery and visit with loved ones there, and it's a great opportunity to walk around as well. And really enjoy family, enjoy the weather. It might be a little chilly, but that is how I enjoyed spending my holidays this year or this time of year. So, what about you, Lindsay? What do you do?
Well, my family's the same. There's a lot of us. And so we all get together for a big meal and all the kids come and the kids run around and get activity and the adults usually don't. But as the day wears on and the families start going to see their in-laws or their other cousins, then smaller and smaller groups are left. And so what my brother and I usually like to do is play one of the video games we have. And so we're really competitive. And so even if it's just a level-based game and it's not a physical activity game, we're both standing up and kind of shoving each other out of the way and, oh, it's my turn, it's your turn. And so we'll play. Even if the game isn't competitive, we find a way to make it that way. And so we're just, we're running around in the family room, and that helps to do it after the meal so that you're not just feeling like you're sitting there after eating way too much turkey and pie. What about your family, Beth, and your kids?
So we like to stay pretty active during the holidays and get up and get moving. One, we're always outside farming and moving cattle, but sometimes during the holidays we like to take a break. So I have a couple ideas that I want to share with you guys. One is you can use like an orange, an apple, a lemon, a lime. And sometimes when we're sitting around the table, we just pass it underneath the table and like set like a little timer. And like the little kids really like this game and they want to try to guess who has the orange or your fruit. And then if you guess wrong, you're out. And so then the table gets smaller and smaller about how many people are passing it, like trying to be discreet as the day goes on. So that's one thing that we do. And then you end up moving because you're getting eliminated. So you're getting away from the table. So that one's kind of fun. Another one that we do is we play a lot of card games. A lot of these can get us up and active. We play war, we play slapjack. It gets rather aggressive. A good game of spoons. I encourage anybody, if you've never played spoons, to look up the rules online. It's super simple, super fun, and everybody from 3 to 93 can play if they want to. Our family happens to get really, really aggressive, and so you've got people jumping over tables, like pushing people out of the way. It's very, very active. And then another one I want to share is I have a whole bunch of dice too. There's a bunch of dice games you can play, whether it's Farkle, Yahtzee. You can kind of like Mad Lib to them, if you will, to get active and get moving. The little guys like to, they're like super into jumping jacks right now. So they like to, like, if you roll a 5, you have to do 5 jumping jacks or whatever. I mean, you can get kind of creative with your games, even if it's just like you're playing Monopoly or the Game of Life or whatever board game your family might be playing. And so I just think it's super fun that the kids also enjoy getting up and moving. Even if it's cold outside, it gives us an option to get up and get moving, despite that we might be doing chores with farming and whatnot. So that's what we do. Christy, what do you do?
Well, we like to decorate, put lights up, trim the tree. We're all just up and moving when we're doing that kind of stuff. If there's snow on the ground and it's not freezing cold outside, we do love to get outside and play in the snow, pull the kids around in the sleds or build a snowman. If it's not weather permitting, a lot of times we'll play charades in the house just so that we're up and moving and staying active. How about you, Eliana? What do you like to do?
Oh man, well, after the big breakfast that we have on Christmas, we usually go for a walk outside, kind of like midday, after all the excitement of opening presents. That kind of like settles our tummy, gets the dogs outside going, and just, we can talk about what we're going to do for dinner.
And Lindsay, you were telling me a little bit earlier that you practice mindful eating, especially during the holidays.
Our holidays usually focus on food, and it's a great time to practice mindful eating skills. I really love pumpkin pie, and so I take my time to think about the slice that I'm eating, the creaminess of the texture, the flavor of the pumpkin, and the special whipped cream that my mom makes for us. So take the time to enjoy food and family this holiday season, even if you have to do it virtually. It's a great time to practice mindful eating while enjoying the food you love. Take some time to add a little activity to your holiday celebrations.